What's up guys, Specstar here today with my week 5 battle for UNL. I'm going up against Blag and his team, the Watermelons. If you're wondering about my team at all, I've got a team builder video, which if this video is up, it would have been posted a little bit ago. And this matchup, there's actually quite a bit at stake for me. If I win this match, then I have clinched a bye in the playoffs, and I've also clinched first place in my division, so I would coach my division's all-star game. And if I KO one of his Pokemon and lose 5-0, I've clinched playoffs. So it's a pretty important game. Yes, their aura is an angry boy. And based on this matchup, it looks like it might be about to put in some work. So he is either going to lead Coco or Araquanid, so in both scenarios, I'm good to lead off with Zero Aura. If he goes Nidoqueen, he does catch me. He says he's just dealing with his damage calc. I'm just going to let him know that's fine. I might as well look at my team while he's doing that. I'm just going to do a quick overview again if you want to hear why I'm bringing anything that I'm bringing. Like you want to know why the hell my Greninja has no speed? Watch the team builder. There's a reason for everything. I've got a Blaziken, which is Defog, Protect, 2 attacks, Fightinium. I've got my Greninja, which is dual attacking, Naughty. It was Naughty, right? Lonely. Right, I mixed those two up for obvious reasons. Just lead off with a Araquanid, so I'm just going to hit that with a Volt Switch. We'll see if he wants to bring in Pert or even his Nidoqueen. Either way, I'm fine. If he goes Pert, I should be able to knock that out with Grass Knot. If he goes Nidoqueen, that would be a little bit annoying, so I'm hoping that's not what happens here. And he's going to eat his Wakan Berry and take 0 there. So, I mean, good on his end. I think my play here is just to go into Scizor pretty safely. He has a crit with Liquidation. Wow. Okay, so there goes my Hawlucha check. Because I was wanting to deal with webs. Wow. Alright, that's going to be a little bit of a challenge, but we don't really let Lucha set up, so I don't think it's the end of the world. I just have to be careful with leaving Umbreon in on it, and Aerial Ace is going to get the KO on Araquanid, so we're not going to have to deal with webs, which is always good. Although I kind of hate that Scizor got weakened like that. My play there did kind of backfire. I really wasn't expecting him to be that kind of set, especially after he showed the Wakan Berry, but that Araquanid is a powerful boy. I initially had more defense investment on this thing, but I shifted it over to attack because I needed the extra damage on Hawlucha with this thing. I may potentially be able to roost back up if he goes into Skarmory, so I mean, this thing's not completely dead in the water. I'm not really willing to give up on this yet. See what he does. He goes Pert here. Does Pert need speed investment? Pert needs speed investment to be faster than my Scizor, so I'm going to try and get my Roost here. See him... Oh, wow, he just goes for Earthquake. I would have assumed he would be getting up his rocks. I need to bring my health back on Scizor. That is existential for me. He gets up his rocks, I'm going to defog them away right away. We see him go ahead and Nidoqueen. We know Nidoqueen probably doesn't have Stealth Rock since we see it on his Swampert, so we could see it being more of an offensive set. I'm pretty safe to go into my Umbreon here. He goes for an Earth Power. He does quite a bit actually. I'm just going to go for a Moonlight. We'll see if he has Focus Blast here. But it is called Focus Miss for a reason, so if we do see it, we may not see it land. Ooh. We're glad to have our health back on Scizor because that means I don't have to completely freak out and panic about Hawlucha. It's still the biggest threat to my team, but I do have my check for it. He does have the Focus Blast, but it's not doing enough. And he doesn't have enough PP to beat us with that. I think I'm going to click Moonlight once, and then I might try to go into a Moongus and see if I can get a Stun Spore on it. As he goes directly in a Skarm, and that's fine for me. That's why I've got Defog on my Blaziken. It'll help me control hazards. But I'm not really worried about Spikes, so... I was more worried about rocks than I am about spikes, so I think here I'll just take my chance to put some offensive pressure on him. And I'm going to click Focus Blast because it will hit his Pert if he tries to go into that. And of course we'll hit Skarmory hard. It goes for Brave Bird and that does a ton. Blaziken's going to be in range of that spike, but I do have the Defog on Scizor, and if I get the chance to use it. Here I'm going to go for Fire Blast and take out the Skarmory. I think that was my best play. I don't know what issues he's having exactly here. I'm wondering what he could go into now. We could see Pert come out, and I might even just opt to hit that with my Pummeling, rather than have to deal with trying to get Blaziken back, or I could also just go into Scizor, which we know beats this. And that's what I think my smartest play is, because that'll help me defog this spike and get my Blaziken back in, which is very valuable. I'm just going to drop an Unford. I don't know exactly what his issue is. He says the sets didn't update, but I don't know what issue that presents to his team. Here I got to go back into Scizor, and I'm going to bring it back up to health with Roost first. We'll try to defog after if he leaves us in. Oh, I'm not sure what issues having there. Like this is a team he previously built. Well, it's kind of a bummer. I guess I'm just going to drop that in there. I don't really know too much about what to say there. I think my play here is first into Umbreon, and then I'm going to try and make a pivot into a Moongus that lets me paralyze this thing, because it becomes a lot easier to deal with if I do so. Well, I mean, that sucks. Normally I'd love to redo it, but we're so late in the battle that he's already seen a lot of my sets. He's probably going to get into the playoffs, so I'm letting him know that we'll probably have a playoff rematch. Because that's probably how it's going to go the way the season is. I'm just going to scout for what this does, because I'm not even sure if this beats us. He might just go into Haw. So he does that, and I think here I'm going to try and get my Stun Spore off on this. He should go for Focus Blast here, and then I think Amoonguss is out of range of anything. Yeah, I don't think he's going to do that. He may even still get in based on the standings. Unfortunately, he misses the Focus Blast. I'm not really sure if that mattered. I want to try and connect my Stun Spore here as you see my sidekick here, Shadow. Now I can go back into Umbreon, and this thing's going to become easier to deal with. A Shadow wants his attention during the battle. And here I can throw off a Pursuit. See if it does anything at all. Ideally it would. No, it does nothing. This thing just becomes hard for me to deal with without sacking off something, but at this point I might have to. I might have to sack my Blaziken here so I can get a Greninja in. This dog's insane. I'm just going to sack my Blaziken. I think that's my smartest play. Now I can go into Greninja and put a ton of pressure on him. He has no switch into my Ice Beam, like at all. And if Nidoqueen goes down, his team becomes a lot easier for me to wall. He wasn't a pert. Oh, that's a bummer. I definitely did not want that. I definitely didn't want to win that way. I was going to U-turn and go into my Scizor, because I know Scizor beats this. That's what I was going to do regardless. Maybe he can thaw out. Unfortunately, he does not. Now he goes into the Nidoqueen, and this nightmare begins again. Ooh. I think this is my smartest play. I was going to go Amoonguss and then try and get the pivot into Greninja, but that did not work out how I planned it to. This pert, we're going to get the KO on that with Greninja. We'll probably see Coco come out here. And I'm going to go into Zeraora, which does not let Hot Lucha set up. And of course it also blocks a Volt Switch with its Volt Absorb. I promise that dog gets plenty of attention, just not so much when I'm battling. He's thinking about his turn, but I thought the play into this Coco seemed pretty obvious. If he goes into Ha, I think I'm just going to go hard into Scizor. But yeah, we do see him going out into Coco, and then I'm just going into my Assault Vest Zeraora, which should be able to deal with it. Yeah, his Gleam is doing 0, and I'm going to click Hidden Power Ice here pretty safely. I wouldn't imagine he'd want to leave his Coco in on this, so hopefully we can score it to a KO on his Nidoqueen. Appears to be Twinkle Tackle, and I guess he really didn't want to switch his Coco out. Oh well. I might try and go, now he goes Nidoqueen, that's annoying. Good on him, I guess. Do I need Zeraora at this point? I think my play is just to click Hidden Power Ice here. And he does break through. So I'm going to click my Hidden Power Ice here. I think that's just the smartest play I have. Or Ice Beam. Did I say HP Ice? This game's been a real interesting one. Ultimately, I'm looking at trying to win it with my Scizor here. That's my goal. So we're probably going to see his Coco come out here, and then I think my play is just to Shadow Sneak to try and put him in range of my Bullet Punch. Additionally, I have to calc that to see if it does put him in range, although I'm pretty sure it does. So Shadow Sneak does 30 to 36, so minimum of 30, which would put him at 45. And then Scizor is doing, so really it's rolled very much in my favor. And I get 35, so I think that was just the safest win condition I had, and we're going to hope his Hawlucha does not have the Fire Punch so I can win with my Scizor. And this Hawlucha is what the Scizor was meant for, so hopefully we can pull this off. Do not have Fire Punch. Oh, he misses high jump kick. I think I won it anyway, but it's just a bummer of a way to win, but I definitely do think Scizor still won that game. There was a bit of a hacksy game. It definitely changed the way it played out, but I don't think it necessarily changed the outcome. I'm going to pull up a calc. Hawlucha, Electric Seed Sweeper. Yeah, Aerial Ace into Bullet Punch. Let's see if it did the damage. So it would have depended on how much bulk investment he had, if it could have KO'd him there. And yeah, well, that's a bummer of a win, but it's still a win. And I do clinch a bye in a less than ideal fashion. We're probably going to rematch him in the playoffs, and I'm hoping we have a better game then. I'm looking forward to it. Regardless, thank you guys for watching. Have yourselves a